On my first automation project, I spent 10 hours building a solution, charged $10, and ended up losing $8 overall. I was so excited to get started that I said yes to a project for literally just $10. It took me 10 hours to complete, so not only $10, but 10 hours as well. And after Upwork fees, I actually ended up losing $8. That's right, I ended up paying to work for somebody else. And you're probably wondering why I did that. But I actually see this all the time when new agency owners underprice themselves because they're afraid they don't have enough experience. But here is the truth. Charging too little doesn't hurt you only, it also hurts your clients. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. If you're new to the channel, my name's Simon and I run an AI automation agency. I've got a top-rated Upwork profile for delivering AI agents and automation, and I also teach others how to master and sell AI automation. And today, I want to save you from making the exact same expensive mistakes that I did. And in this video, I'll show you exactly why underpricing is a trap and how to set your rates that respect your actual value, even if you're a total beginner. There's more than just the financial cost of underpricing yourself. The true cost of underpricing your automation services can be broken down into 4 different themes. Firstly, premium pricing commands respect. So when you buy something that's expensive or you perceive to be valuable or expensive, you're making a decision there based on the value it's going to generate for you. So when somebody's services are priced highly, you perceive that as valuable and therefore you expect a lot from it. When you're buying something that's very cheap or even free, which we'll cover in a second, you often forget about. So pricing yourself at a premium commands respect from your clients and it shows you're going to deliver. The price also affects client expectations. So if I am paying $5 an hour for a freelancer on Upwork, I expect to supervise that person a lot because they're very cheap, versus if I'm paying somebody $80 an hour on Upwork, I'm going to expect them to drive the work forwards without my supervision or with less work from my side. So pricing yourself much lower actually takes away a lot of the freedoms that you potentially want by becoming a freelancer or an agency owner in the first place. One of the things that I got stuck with was low rates becoming a price anchor for me. When you start low, other people can see that feedback on your profile. Yes, you might get a good testimonial, but your rates have always been lower. So people are more reluctant to pay you higher rates for the same work. But it also puts you in a position, if you don't time box your specific project, to actually then have to negotiate yourself up in price, which is a much harder position to be in than to start off and get a client at a higher rate. And then finally, free work gets forgotten. So how many free trials, free guides, free resources have you signed up to that you've never touched again? And that's because we perceive it as not valuable. When something is free or given to us, we don't put the same value on it. If we're associating something with pain, like paying a high price tag, then we're making sure we're getting the most from that. So in the same respect, if you charge a significantly lower price, you're not going to command the same respect. Now, the clients at those low price points can often be your worst clients. They expect over delivery, but when you're priced at something like $5, $10, $15, even $20 an hour in some areas, people will expect you to deliver a significantly higher value than that amount. And let's jump onto Upwork and I'll show you exactly what I mean. If I'm on my freelancer profile here, I'll just type in something like NAN automation. And if we go to the less than $100, you'll see that lots of these are over-spec'd and undervalued. So NAN expert, teacher, and console. Hi, I need an NAN expert, console, and teacher that can talk about my current flows, but also help expand them. I'm willing to pay $25. So you want somebody to teach you what's going to bring you a hell of a lot of value, and you're going to pay me $25 to do so. So underprice and over deliver. That's what they're expecting here. And I'm just going to give some hard truths to some of these projects here. So bear with me. NA10 automation specialist needed. Budget $20. We're looking for an experienced automation specialist to help us set up and optimize workflows in NAN. The ideal candidate will have a strong understanding of NAN's features and capabilities, enabling them to create efficient and automated processes tailored to our needs. So they want customized workflows. They're willing to pay $20 and they want intermediate level experience with N8N. You will be responsible. So you will be solely responsible for implementing and troubleshooting all our automation tasks to ensure our operations run smoothly. Clearly, their operations are only worth $20 to them. And the worst of all, this is a US based client. So $20 is peanuts to them. We'll give one more example of hourly rates. If we put maybe $10 an hour as the max here, you get a good indication that lots of people are requesting these low value projects. Make.com developer with AI prompting experience, $10 to $25 an hour. AI automation expert needed. So one of the most valuable skills needed, $8 to $30 an hour. Now, if you're able to get the upper range, then this starts to become acceptable. But if you're applying at this lower range, it's a bit of a warning here for the client, despite their good reviews, that actually they're going to expect a lot from you for a low price point. And they're going to become your problem clients that you're going to want to get rid of later down the line. It's kind of crazy. You have a strong understanding of N8N AI applications in content creation and the ability to integrate various APIs. So previously, that would have been a software engineer role. You would never pay $8 to $30 an hour for a software engineer. In particular, the lower range under $20 an hour, never. And what that leads to is potentially worse feedback because they're expecting a lot and you're not getting paid a lot either. There's a very simple method to work out what your floor rate would be. And floor rate here is effectively the rate that you shouldn't go below to hit your consistent income goals. So as part of the agency launchpad in my school community linked in the description, we run through all of these steps with you to work out exactly what your income goals would be, what your non-negotiables should be, what you should charge specifically for clients. But at a basic level, your floor rate is the level that you should not go below. And you can work it out by saying, what's my monthly income goal? Let's add 30% to adjust for platform fees, for exchange rates, for Upwork fees and taxes. And that will obviously vary per where you are. And then divide that by the billable hours per month. And that gives you your floor rate calculation. So say for example, your floor rate is $3,000 per month, plus 30% would be $3,900. Divide by, let's say, 80 billable hours a month. So you only want to work 20 hours a week on this. Then that would give you something in the region of $40 to $50 per hour, which would be your floor rate. Now it leaves you with the question still, if your floor rate's very high, what should your rate actually be when you're going on a platform like Upwork? And you need to answer that question by doing some research. So there's two ways in which we can do this very quickly. The first is research our competitors. And the second is analyzing job posting budgets. So let's go back to N8N. And the first one we can do by literally getting rid of the filters here, searching a generic term like N8N automation and going through, and let's do an hourly rate. And let's just assess what are, within the first few pages, whether there's enough jobs hiring within our budget range. So we've got $10 to $25, we've got $8 to $30, and some of them don't show exactly what they're paying. But if we keep going through, we will see 30 to 60. So we're in that range. 10 to 40, 15 to 45. So on the upper range of this, $20 to $50, $20 to $30. And you can see if you go through the first 3 or 4 pages, $40, that probably hits ours. You'll be able to scroll down and work out how many of these job posts under terms that you would search actually fit your floor rate inside them, and therefore can work out whether that's reasonable. Now, the second way you can do this is to actually create a client account, which is free on Upwork, and you can effectively assess your competition. So if we go to hire talent and we search for talent, we can type in the same term, N8N automation, but also we can search by our location. So for me, this would be the United Kingdom. If I tick the UK there, I can go down and I can see the top rated freelancers doing similar things to me in the same country as me, because countries are treated differently in this respect. The US will command a higher rate than Asian countries in general. $40 up here, $42, $50 an hour, 30, 40, 60, 30, 40. So you get the idea that actually there's a wide range here, that my floor rate of $40 to $50 would actually fit quite well within the location I'm based, and therefore it would be realistic. Now, there are a few special circumstances in which you'd want to implement strategic discounting, as we've called it here. The first is if you have zero experience, you've not ever built an automation. By the way, I would not recommend applying to these roles before you've got something in your portfolio, something which we cover in the complete agency launchpad on how to get your first client. But if you manage to get a client just on board so that you can add something to your portfolio, then that might be worth doing a strategic discount to your floor rate. But I'd never go below 50% of your floor rate as a general rule of thumb. You need to make sure these have clear time limits. So if we go to my example, we scroll down my profile to the job where I was paid $10. This was a specific small project, NAN HubSpot trigger setup that I knew, one, I could add to my profile, and two, it had a clear time limit. I knew it was one specific fix. Even though it took me a long time because I was a complete beginner, I set a clear time limit to that so that I wouldn't agree to this fixed price project and continue to work forever on it, or get stuck at a really low hourly rate below my floor rate. The last reason you might want to do this, which was my reason for doing this, was social proof or testimonials are the most powerful thing at selling your profile in your proposals to other people. So being able to work up to 100% job success or a top rated badge, or even just getting 5-star reviews on your profile is absolutely critical to start building out a portfolio of clients. So in my personal opinion, it's actually okay to go below your floor rate for a one-off to get your first 5-star rating and help you propel up to higher rates. So you can see how quickly I moved up the rates to jobs that are like $125 an hour compared to when I lost $8 on my first job. So remember, when you're trying to land clients at fair rates using Upwork, quality proposals at a higher floor rate are significantly more effective than 30 lowball offers where you're going to get stuck negotiating up or wanting to leave that client. If you're not enjoying it because you're being paid too little, then you're not going to over deliver for that client. And that's going to negatively affect the social proof or testimonials you'll get as well. And something we touch on a lot in the agency launchpad is value focused cover letters. We need to talk about how to value the client's project and therefore charge them appropriately for that value you're delivering. If you enjoyed the content, please give it a like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.